Most owners would do anything to avoid hurting their dog. And most of them are doing it anyway, not out of cruelty, not out of neglect, but out of the specific gap between how humans naturally express care and how dogs actually receive it. That gap is where the hurt lives. Not dramatic hurt, not the kind that makes headlines, the quiet kind, the kind that accumulates in small moments your dog registers and you don't because no one taught you the language and the dog cannot correct you. 7 mistakes. Each one common, each one well-intentioned, each one landing differently than you meant it to. You have probably made most of them today. By the end of this, you will know what they are, why they land the way they do, and the small, specific adjustments that change everything without requiring you to become a different person, just a more accurately translated one. The first mistake is getting in her face. You love her face. You want to be close to it. You lean in, you make eye contact, you bring your forehead toward hers in the gesture that feels, to you, like tenderness and closeness and the most direct form of connection available between two creatures who do not share a language. She does not receive it that way. Direct, close, sustained eye contact is a challenge in the social language of dogs. A face coming toward her face, especially from above, especially held close, reads as pressure, not affection. The freeze that follows, the slight look away, the lick of the nose. These are not her enjoying the closeness. They are her managing a social signal she did not ask for and is not sure how to answer. She loves you. She does not love the face approach. The distance between those two facts is where the hurt quietly lives, every time you lean in and she holds still and you call it a cuddle. The second mistake is using her name as a correction. You call her name when she is doing something wrong, when she is chewing something she should not be, when she is jumping, when she is barking. Her name, said in the sharp tone of interruption, becomes associated with the thing that follows. The correction, the frustration, the energy of a moment gone wrong. Her name should mean one thing. Something good is coming from the direction of the person I love. Every time it is used to interrupt, to correct, to express displeasure, that association erodes. Over time, her name becomes a conditional signal. Sometimes it means good things. Sometimes it means the opposite. And she begins to register it with a faint wariness instead of the orientation and brightness that a well-associated name produces. Use her name for good things only. Call her to you. Call her to dinner. Call her when you have something worth her time. For corrections, use a neutral interruption, a sound, a word that is not her name, and save her name for the moments that deserve it. The third mistake is the inconsistency you do not notice because it feels like flexibility. Some days the couch is fine. Some days it is not. Some days jumping up is greeted with affection. And some days it produces a correction. Some days you are patient, and some days the same behavior receives a sharp response because you are tired and the tolerance is lower. This is the piece most owners miss entirely. She is not reading your rules. She is reading your responses. And when the response to the same behavior changes based on your mood rather than her behavior, she cannot build a reliable map of the world. She cannot know what is safe and what is not, what is permitted and what is not, because the answer keeps changing based on a variable she can feel but cannot predict. The inconsistency does not confuse her in the abstract. It stresses her in the specific, in the ongoing low-level work of an animal that cannot relax into certainty because certainty keeps shifting. She is not being difficult when the mixed signals produce mixed behavior. She is doing her best with an inconsistent dataset. The hurt is not dramatic. It is the quiet exhaustion of never quite knowing where she stands. The fourth mistake is rushing her on the walk. The walk is not, for your dog, primarily about the distance covered or the time it takes. It is about the information she encounters, the scent record of everyone and everything that passed before her, rich enough to constitute a world she enters and reads every time she lowers her nose to the pavement. When you tug her away from a sniff before it is finished, when the leash tightens and the nose lifts and you keep moving, you are cutting her off mid-sentence. The interruption is not neutral. It is the removal of the primary thing that makes the walk meaningful from inside her experience. Behavioral observation of dogs allowed variable sniff time versus restricted sniff time on walks has found measurably greater optimism indicators and reduced stress markers in the dogs who were permitted to sniff. The sniff is not a luxury. It is the nutritional content of the walk. Rushing through it is the equivalent of allowing her to smell dinner, but not eat it. She wishes the walk was slower. She has been wishing this every single time. The fifth mistake is the forced interaction with people she has not chosen. A new person arrives and you want it to go well? You want her to be social, to be friendly, to demonstrate that she is a good dog who likes people. And so you guide her toward the new person. You encourage the approach. You perhaps hold her in place while the stranger reaches down to pet her. She did not choose this. She has not had time to assess the new person, to decide on her own terms whether the approach is safe, to move at the pace her nervous system requires to feel genuinely comfortable rather than managed into the appearance of comfort. The dog who is guided into an interaction she has not elected is a dog whose consent has been overridden. She tolerates it because you are asking and she loves you. But the tolerance is different from ease, and she carries the residue of the managed moment in a way that the freely chosen interaction would never produce. The approach that comes from your guidance builds the appearance of it. Let her approach new people on her own timeline. Let the new person crouch, look away, offer a hand low and loose, and wait. If she comes, she chose it. If she does not come immediately, she is not ready. The approach that comes from her own assessment is the one that builds genuine confidence. The sixth mistake is the goodbye she cannot process. You are leaving and you feel guilty about it. The guilt produces a prolonged departure, the long crouch, the sustained eye contact, the repeated reassurance in a voice that carries, unmistakably, the emotional weight of what you are feeling. She reads every bit of it, not the words, the body, the energy, the specific quality of your distress about the leaving, which tells her, in the language she actually reads, that the leaving is an occasion for distress. You are. With the best possible intentions, teaching her that your departures are emotionally significant events. You are confirming, through the length and texture of the goodbye, that there is something here worth being troubled by. She does not need the long goodbye. She needs to see, in the ordinary calm of a routine departure, that you are not troubled by the leaving, because if you are not troubled, she has less reason to be. The brief, warm, matter-of-fact exit is not coldness. It is the kindest message you can send. This is ordinary. I will be back. It does not require us to grieve it. The seventh mistake, the one underneath all the others, is expecting her to understand the intention. You meant the hug as love. You meant the face approach as tenderness. You meant the guidance toward the stranger as help. You meant the prolonged goodbye as comfort. The intention was good. The intention was real. The intention was entirely yours. She does not receive intentions. She receives behavior, the specific, observable, physical behavior that your intention generated. And the behavior landed differently than you meant it to, because you were translating through a human emotional vocabulary into a situation that uses a different one. This is not a failure of love. It is a failure of translation, and translation is learnable. Most owners carry the weight of these mistakes as evidence of something wrong with them, that they are not good enough owners, that the love they have is not landing, that the relationship they feel is not the relationship their dog experiences. Flip that. The fact that you are watching this, the fact that you wanted to know, the fact that you are sitting with the slight discomfort of recognizing yourself in some of these, that is not the mark of a bad owner. That is the mark of someone who loves their dog enough to want the love to actually reach her, not just to feel like love from the inside, to land like love on the outside. The mistakes on this list are not character flaws. They are translation errors, and translation errors, once you see them, are the easiest thing in the world to fix. Think about the 7. The hug she was tolerating, the name used as a correction, the inconsistency she was quietly navigating, the walk you kept moving through, the greeting she was guided into, the goodbye she was learning to be troubled by, the intention that did not make it through. None of them were done from anything other than love. Every single one of them can, starting today, be done differently, not perfectly differently. One adjustment at a time, one translation corrected. One moment where the love you feel and the love she receives finally speak the same language. She has been meeting you more than halfway this entire time. Now you know where the rest of the distance lives. Go close it. Which of the 7 felt most familiar? And is there one you are going to change first? Tell me in the comments. If this is the kind of watching you want to keep doing, subscribing means the next one finds you.